I was trying to shut the door, but it interrupted the stream. So I am going to have to keep it on there open. So I'm going to apologize for my dogs right now. Let me cut down the TV. And several people had asked me to do this live on the Mermaid style cup, what is this one. This was the original one that I had posted. And it's got a girl laying on the beach, and then a little surfer guy out here, mermaid sitting on a rock. So anyway, that's the style that I do my mermaids. And to get started, the first thing that you need to do is make some kind of beachy background. And at this point, it can be any kind that you want. I tried something different last night to prep a cup. I decided that this one, I wanted to do kind of a nighttime theme instead of the regular beach backgrounds. Y'all can see up there the kind that I normally do. And on this one, I put a white base on the cup and then epoxy in little cups and added paints and just kind of drizzled the colors on there to make this type of beach. There are many, many tutorials on how to do that. So I just figured y'all pick out the kind of beach background that you like to do. Last night I wanted to try something a little different. I'm doing a 30-ounce straight hog tumbler. So shape is a little bit different. And hey Tess, how are you? I always feel so silly when I start doing these because I'm talking to myself. Again, I apologize for my dogs. I tried to shut the door, but I lost my stream for internet when I did, so I'm going to have to keep it open. Hey, Melanie, thank you so much. Army mom. I'm a Coast Guard mom and retired Navy. So to do this kind of mermaid cup, it's really easy, y'all. Again, for those that just popped on, I always try to think of things that are different. I don't like to do what everybody else is doing. So this is my take on a mermaid cup. I just put a quote on there, tropical air and sun-kissed hair, not a care. And then I made a beach background. So for these, you could do any kind of background that you like to do for beach, whether it's glitter or alcohol inks, or this one is with paint in the epoxy, and then you drizzle it on. And then I just do water slide for my girls. And then I do a little bit of hand painting, adding a little bit of like glitters. And here's this one, I did a chunky one. So I'm just going to tell you like basically that you don't have to be an artist or anything to make a cup look pretty. I'm not an artist, y'all, but I do try to think outside the box a little bit and come up with new ideas. So I know y'all see me posting all different kind of stuff, and it's just because I'm always trying something. So last night I wanted to prep a cup, and I decided I just got bored. I've been doing a lot of beach cups for orders, and you know the style up there, wine tumblers and all that I normally do. So I know a lot of y'all saw my Merman cup that I made the other day. I was just being silly and having fun. And this time I'm going to do like a nighttime because I would get bored doing the same thing again. But I'm going to do it the exact same way. So if you see how to do this one today, then you could do this or any kind at all. So for this background, I did not paint a base coat because I wanted my colors to be a tiny bit darker than normal. So I put this on a turner and I made some clear epoxy, put it into little cups. And then I basically just made a dark blue and a light blue. And with a gloved finger, I just rubbed the dark blue on the top, up here, the opening for the sky. I rubbed a little bit of dark blue around the bottom just to make it look darker. And then I rubbed a lighter color blue through the middle, just a little bit. And then it wasn't getting enough change that I wanted. So then I just dropped some alcohol inks in to where the water is. So you can see it added texture. And then if you know me, I love India ink. So I use my white India ink to add a little bit of, water ripples and things like that and give it a little bit of dimension. And then since I was going to make nighttime, I sprinkled a little bit of glitter only on the dark blue. And they're going to be my stars. And I added a tiny bit of indigo ink just so they could be kind of some dark clouds. And then I'm going to hand paint a moon somewhere on this as part of the decorating. So the first thing that I do once I get my base is when I decorate a cup, I always have something in mind. I see a lot of posts that say, look at this pretty cup I made. What do I put on it? That is so not me because I'm kind of weird where I get a picture in my head of what I want to do. Hey, Bronx, Stacy, how are you? I'm in Georgia for y'all that haven't watched me before. I live in Kennesaw, Georgia, northwest of Atlanta. So anyway, when I'm doing a cup, I kind of get a picture in my head, and then I will drive myself crazy trying to kind of bring it to life. So on this one, I found this mermaid that I liked. Isn't she pretty? And hey, Jessica. So she's the one that I want it to use, and I want it to use like a nighttime sky. I'm going to have my water slide onto the lower part down here so that she'll look like she's laying on the water's edge. And then we've got the water, and then this is going to be the sky, and I'm going to hand paint a moon up here. And then I'm going to add some glitters. So if you're doing stuff like this, think about what you might want to add and just kind of have all your junk out. I have like a little stock of stuff over here that I thought I might use. I didn't want to have to get up and down on y'all. We got Arkansas in the house. Let me just show y'all how I just kind of stashed my stuff over here in the corner. I knew I was going to need some white paint to do a moon, and then I grabbed some gray in case I want to texture it a little bit. And glitters are going to go on the mermaid tail, very much like I did on this cup. If you'll see, I added a little bit of glitter in her hair, a little bit of gold, and then the glitter for the tail, and the one on the other side too. So when you do a water slide, you don't want it, even a sticker or anything, you don't want your cup to just look like you slapped a sticker on it, because then it doesn't look real nice. And it looks like you slapped a sticker on it. So the big thing is to not be afraid. Hey, Becky. The big thing is to not be afraid to just keep adding to it until you like it. When I did my, see if I can grab behind me. This is the one I posted the other day, y'all. My sexy merman. But he looked kind of flat on the cup. So I went in and added not just the green on his mermaid tail, but then I even took a different green glitter and just kind of textured it in a little bit down there. I think my dogs are fixing to sing, y'all, so I'm going to apologize. We do it twice a day. I usually join in with them, and it makes them stop quicker. Sorry. I know my Dame is standing there looking at me, wondering why I'm not singing with her. All right. If I don't do it real quick, y'all, let me see. Stop. There they are. See? Sorry about that. Little goofy thing that they do like twice a day, and I always warn people because I know it's coming. And Anyway, back to the cup. My apologies. So I made my base, and again, I did this one in a different way. I just added some of the paint in the epoxy because I hadn't done that before. So I wanted to try it. So used two color blues. And then while it was on the turner, I just reached up and grabbed a couple of alcohol inks to add some texture and depth. Hey, Robin, thank you so much. Um, okay, so that's what we're doing right now. I'm going to angle y'all down a little bit, and I even remembered to bring some water in here. And I will make sure that y'all can see when I start doing stuff. But the first thing that I'm going to do is actually put the water slide on the cup. And I know that some people had wanted to see how to do that. Some people are tired of seeing how to do that. But I figured if I was going to show it, then I wanted people to know exactly how to do it. So again, any kind of beach background. I was trying to keep my water a little bit warm before we started, so I covered it. Any kind of beach background for these mermaids that you want to do, if you prefer the glitter ones or whatever, have a coat of epoxy on it, so then it's safe for you to play with. And I am going to try and keep things where y'all can see, and decide where I want my girl to lay. I think I want her on this side. And again, I printed out what I wanted. I hand cut it out. I sprayed it with 2 times clear spray sealer so that it'll hold up once we put it down in the water. And let me grab a paper towel from behind me, just so I'll have it ready. When you're doing water slide, one of the things that you want to always do is dip your fingers in the water and wet your surface that you're putting the water slide on. And it'll just give you an extra few minutes to move your water slide around to get it exactly how you want it. I hope y'all can see. Now I am just dipping my girl down in the water, and I'm going to hold her in there for a minute. She'll start to curl on you when you first put it in, and then it'll kind of stay flat for you. And then again, you make sure that your surface is wet when you're going to put it on. And in the water, try to start to move it just a little bit on white backing. Mine is moving, so I know that it's ready to come off. And I'm going to kind of get her where I want her. I did this the other day, and I ripped the tail right off. And instead of doing it again, I was able to save it and just kind of played with the little inks. I've never redone a cup yet because anything that doesn't turn out quite like I want it to, I've made it into something else. And that's the biggest thing with doing these cups. It's fun for me is not being afraid to try things and do things and move things around. So I have put her on here, and now I'm just going to kind of play around with positioning her. And I knew that she was not going to stand out incredibly, but I didn't want her to because I'm going to be adding some glitters and stuff and some texture to her so that she will stand out. I'm going to add a little bit of streaks of black glitter go through her hair. But can y'all see how I just kind of put her on there? I hope you can see. So once you get it where you want it, and this part you have to be kind of careful because you don't want to tear your water slide. So I first start out kind of patting it gently, and then I'll just very lightly move my fingers across it to get the water out from underneath, because there will be some underneath. And as it's drying, you'll notice that there's more underneath that you thought you got it all. But I'm just kind of working it down smooth now. So water slides are pretty easy because all you need to do it is a printer. Even if you don't work in design space, you could print on water slide paper right from Word. Um, just size the picture the way you want it. I do not use Cricut to cut out my water slides. Um, I use it to design on and then to send it to the printer. But then I hand cut my water slides because I don't like the way they would give a little edge around them and stuff. So I started just hand cutting. The first one that I did, I got that white edge. So I just took a black Sharpie and I went all the way around it to cover the white edge. And then I spray sealed it and you couldn't tell. So whatever works for you. There's a lot of people that always post, can I do this and can I do that? And y'all, there ain't no rules. You can do whatever you want. Just don't be afraid to try stuff and do it. And some things you're going to do and like and think, why didn't I think of that sooner? And then there's other things that you're going to be like, what the hell was I thinking? But let's see if I can move my water out of the way. And so now this is what I have. I'm trying to make sure that y'all can see. So this is my girl laying on the water's edge. And again, when I was doing this, I just sprinkled a little bit of glitter to make some stars, and then I'm going to hand paint a moon up there. So far that's it. Let me clean up a little bit of my water mess before I go on. And I forgot to pull up my iPad so I could see comments on here. But that anyway, again, there's no wrong. There's no, you know, can I do this or can I do that? And let's see. There we go. Volume down. Now I can see your comments. I apologize if I missed comments, y'all. So, okay. Then once your water on there, the way this tail looks, it's got some light blue. I might use this. And then for the like some feathering in and to add some dimension, I might just go back and feather in a little bit of that. And I know I've told y'all before, I do a lot of little tips and tricks along the way. And one of the biggest things I use, Post-it notes. Anytime that I'm doing, even embellishing glitter, is I'll take a little bit of the glitter and just put some on my Post-it note. And then on another Post-it note, I'll put a little dot of Mod Podge, and I will dip my little brush in the Mod Podge and then onto my cup, and then I can just touch the glitter and place it where I want. Whatever Mod Podge I grab, but I'm going to start by doing her tail, and then I'll go from there. So I'm going to get, I'm trying to angle. I'd rather you see the cup than see me. So I'm just going to take and shake out. I usually put a couple of Post-it notes down on my workspace. And that's just because I'll put Mod Podge on one. And I don't do things fancy. So I'm just going to put a little scoop of Mod Podge on a Post-it note. That way when I'm done, I can just toss it in the trash. And I don't have a big mess. And then I'm going to a little bit of the bigger glitter, because that's what I'm going to do first, is going to be the pretty part of her tail. And then I'll go back and do a little bit of silver. Try to work where y'all can see what I'm doing. But I just touch and paint a little bit of the Mod Podge in where I want it on the tail. Can y'all see? Um, and I'm going to do for like the main part. And once you paint with the mod exactly where you want it, then just take the same brush and touch it onto the glitter, and you can literally lay them right where you want them and they'll stick. So again, it's nothing hard or fancy, but it'll give it some. So this probably isn't going to be real exciting for y'all to watch. I'm actually going to start down here on her bottom and then work my way up so I can see where I want to put some silver accenting in there. But I'm doing this because I don't want to blend in with the water. I don't want her to disappear. So when I chose my colors, I wanted that silver to pop, but I wanted the blue to kind of stand out. And it's not going to show up like as much right now as you're doing it, of course. You can see the Mod Podge, but the Mod Podge is going to dry clear. And then you're going to be able to really see your pretty stuff. And you'll also see if you need to go back and fill in any spaces or anything like that. But basically, I just like to play with stuff and I like to try new things. So by these kind of designs, I can make them a little bit different to do, you know, any of the same color because I don't do well with those kind of orders. If somebody tells me I want a set of beach cups, they know they're going to be similar, but I can't sit and just make things all the same because that would drive me crazy and it wouldn't be fun for me. And I do not do this as a business. I do it just and I sell things along the way. But a lot of times I make things and then people buy them. I don't do a whole lot of um, special orders unless, you know, and it's usually based on something I did and somebody else, if I could make something and then I'll go back and do it or I'll buy that one that I had done. A lot of times I just do my cups for fun and then somebody will want it and then I'll personalize it how they want me to. But can you see how it's starting to get that shine? I'm not sure how light on there for y'all, but fine, I promise. So let's see. Thank you, Stacy. Let's see. Becky. Thank you, Becky. I miss doing the tutorials with y'all, but that things have been blowing up around here with my son, who's a singer. Um, he put out his very first video, and I think he's already got about 8,000 views now. But he's been out him, and he's been having to attend different things, and of course we have to attend everything with him because he's a minor. So we've been busy, and then I've got an upcoming surgery on my hip, so that kind of slowed me down for a little bit. Um, I hate I'm working upside down. All I'm doing is started there at her bottom, and I am working up towards the top of her tail. Once I get the big glitter on, then I'm going to go back with a small brush and I'm going to brush in a little bit of silver around the edges and just to give it a little bit more. I like adding a lot of texture and it makes them prettier to look at to me. And it makes it more fun. So again, I'm still just dipping my brush in Mod Podge and kind of painting a little bit where I want it, and then just take the same brush and touch it right to the glitter, and you literally just place them right where you want them. And with Mod Podge, it's wet, so you can slide them around a little bit and make sure that they're staying in the shape that you want them to. I like to get them in there nice and tight because I want a lot of sparkle when the sun hits the cup. So that's how we're looking so far. I hope everybody's having a good day. Good Lord, it's raining here, and we have had nonstop rain. My husband left for Florida yesterday. It's his turn, and I'm jealous. So I'm home pouting. I don't get to go down again now until the 16th. Then it's my turn again. Not such a bad life, though, getting to take turns to go down to Florida House. But we tease each other that the other one's home pouting whenever we're not there. I hope I'm holding that where y'all can see. Like I said, it's probably boring to sit there and watch. But I am still just adding the big size with it, but add more the smaller shimmery silver up the middle of the tail, I think, just for a little extra sparkle. Those of y'all that do glitter cups, God love you, because glitter is not, I do end up with it everywhere unless in this way I can control it. But when I start shaking glitter, woof. I've been working on a rainbow bright cup that I got to order for, and glitter's crazy, y'all. Looking through Facebook tutorials and found your karaoke videos. Oh no. Many, many moons ago, I sang with a band. So there are some out there. They do still get me up every now and then, but I don't sing. I try to stand back. This is my son's time, not mine. So, but sometimes he'll call me up to do a song with him, and we'll have a little fun. I'm from a family of singers. I actually do other things besides work on cups and go to Florida. This is awkward for me, y'all, working upside down and then trying to hold my arms in such a way you're not looking at my armpits and stuff. All right, let's see how we're looking. Need some more down there. And again, when y'all are decorating these, there's no right or wrong. If you think, and I think they look pretty, just try it. I mean, what is the worst that's going to happen? I always say it's a cup. It's just a damn cup. And some things you're going to like and some things you aren't. I'm going to shake onto another Post-it note some of this little bit of silver glitter, just because I want to start adding a few little to see how it will look. And I like doing my stuff on Post-it notes. I've got my big glitter, my tiny shimmer glitter, and then my Mod Podge. I'm cheap. I don't need fancy containers. I just use Post-it notes. And I want to add a little bit of silver here because I want to see if it's going to look pretty like I think, or if I need to think of something else. And that's what I like to do, is just try stuff. So I'm doing the shimmer glitter the exact same way. I just touched it with Mod Podge, and now and then just tapping it there. You can be pretty exact in where you're placing your glitters by doing it this way. Shaking glitter. Oh my Lord, I have glitter everywhere. And then that's not pretty at all. Just kind of fan this down just a tiny bit. And again, I'm going to just tap some more. Just tapping it in. So, see if y'all kind of see her shimmering now. Then I'll go back now and fill in with my bigger glitter. Some more going down from that. My dogs are scratched on their bed. They try to fluff their pillows. All right, so I keep looking back. Video keeps freezing on me, but I'm trying to hang in there. I apologize. I'm in Georgia, and it has been raining here for our weather has been really horrible. So I think I'm not getting a good service today. But if you do lose me, basically this is it. On how to decorate these. I'm going to continue to decorate my girl. I'm going to add some streaks of black glitter through her hair. And then I'm going to hand paint a moon up here. And I may go in and add a little bit of silver shimmer into the water. It's really just up to you. You could add, a couple of bronze glitter or you want. And then just keep decorating it until you're satisfied with it. On the quote, I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, but this is basically just how to do it, y'all. It's just adding your water slide and then just start embellishing from there. It. So if you do lose me or you need to go or come back later to see how it ended up, I'll post a picture of how she ends up when I'm finished because I'll just kind of keep messing with her and until I think it's enough is enough. Sometimes I don't always know enough, but don't be afraid to get and just add stuff until you like it is basically what you do. Anybody have any questions for me? So again, the style, you can do any kind of background too. There's my one girl. There's the other one with some gold in her hair. But do any kind of background that you want for beach and water. And then add a few water slides and then just start playing with them and get them to where you like them. So this is going to be my one. Once I paint the moon, I think it'll make a little more sense, but her tail's looking right pretty. And I'm fixing to start adding some black. I got to add just, I think, a few more scales to her tail. Her tail is tiny. Wish we could all say that our tail looked tiny. And using the chunky glitters, they look real pretty under the epoxy. And by doing it this way, you keep everything laid down. You don't have to worry about sanding anything later on either, uh, by adding it this way as opposed to sprinkling. Let's see, what brand of water slide paper do you use? Um, I order it off of Amazon, and I can run out and check it in a minute. It's actually out in the office. It, um, but I have ordered different kinds. I just look at the prices, to be honest. I think what more important than the brand is how well you seal it. And I do use the, you're welcome, Becky. I do use the 2 times clear glossy or semi-gloss to seal it. And I'll spray horizontally and then vertically, and then horizontally and then vertically. And I'll do it each way 3 times. And I haven't had a problem with my water slides. I do a lot of stuff on the white water slides because I do so much color and texture in my backgrounds that it's the only way they show up for me. Unless it's on a white cup. I do have one over there working. If it's on, oh, there's one right up here. If I'm doing it on a white cup like this one, then I'll use clear. So this one's water slide. But otherwise, I use white, or else you wouldn't see anything. So, all right, so I think I have her tail pretty good. I may go back in when I look at it under the light, and like along the very edge, I may add a little bit of the silvery shimmer. But right now, I think I'm going to dump a little bit of black. And y'all, I don't use the fancy glitters. So far, I've just used what I like at Hobby Lobby and Walmart, and because it works for me for what I want. I don't, if I worked with glitter a lot, then it might make a bigger difference. So I'm not saying it doesn't make a difference, but I do so very little with glitter that for accenting things and doing what I do, so far I haven't had the need to use any of the fancy glitters, or I wouldn't know the difference, to be honest, right now, because I don't do enough. All right, so now I'm going to just add a little bit into her hair. See how it kind of looks plain? So I want to add a little bit of black streaks. And see how I'm just making kind of like a fine line with the Mod Podge? And so I'm going to do that because I just want to kind of accent her long, pretty hair, what they call mermaid hair, right? And then I'm going to go back and touch that with my black glitter. And you might not be able to see that much in the video, but when the light hits it, catch it and it'll look pretty. So right on those lines that I just put, now I'm just touching them with, and I don't know if you will be able to see if I can get some light where it'll catch it. Maybe, maybe, maybe. But I promise you, you can see it in the light. So I'm not doing like her whole head full of glitter. I'm just doing a few streaks into her head, just enough that when the light catches it, it'll just add a tiny bit more of sparkle. So, and then I take my black, touch my brush on it, and then just retouch right where I put the um, Mod Podge. Some black shimmer now in her hair. And I think the next thing I need is a little moon up here in the sky. And I put white over here because I wanted it to look like where she was laying. There were some clouds and moon. Stacy, it's easy when you do it. Well, I'm showing you, hon, it's easier when anybody does it. I'm not doing anything fancy, y'all. I'm doing like 4th grade, touch a paintbrush to the glue and then touch it to the glitter and then touch. I'm not even painting anything. This one is, like I said, you drop your inks, do what you want to do. And then now we're just kind of embellishing. So, and the embellishing is the easy part, but it's what makes it look so dang pretty. So I'm going to move my Mod Podge over so I don't mistake it for white paint, because my fancy Post-it notes will think that it is. And I'm just going to put a tiny dot of white and then a tiny dot of, I think, silver to dab in on the moon. When I do it, it's scary. I told you I was real nervous after the very first did. And then when I realized that it was just a cup, and what was the worst that could happen is I would make an ugly cup, and all of a sudden I realized that wouldn't devastate me at home. I said it could be y'all's dirty little secret. Ain't nobody got to see it unless you show them. So I'm thinking maybe right up here, y'all, for the. You think that's a good spot? I don't want to make it too big and obtrusive, but I'm literally going to, some of y'all are paint. I am literally going to paint a circle, and a small one at that. So again, it is not anything fancy that I'm going to do. All right, so I got my moon there. And I'm going to take the same brush and just dip it in. I'm dipping in like just a tiny bit of gray, just so that my moon doesn't look so bright white and perfect, because on a dark night it wouldn't. Does that make sense? And all I did is dab it, nothing fancy. So again, this is my girl, y'all. And I will just keep playing with a little bit of glitter. And I will post a picture of her later when I get a quote on here and a coat of epoxy on her. And I'll let you know how she ends up. If anybody has any questions, I always tell people, instead of putting them here on YouTube, let me fix this. Whoa, where I can actually have a word with y'all. If you have any questions at all, instead of posting them on the YouTube, it's easier if you PM me. I will get it right away. And I promise I do answer questions if y'all have them. And I'll answer it a lot sooner that way. It might be a day or two before I get back on YouTube. And so I might miss a question. So if you have something that you need to know, I usually get it right then and there, and I'll answer it in the middle of something. But I think most people will them pretty quick. But anyway, this is the one that we did today. And basically, doing your background, add a water slide, and then just kind of play with it. The big thing that I recommend is start your cup. I mean, it's always going to end up that way, The one I just finished, let me grab it. Last night, I had started a cup with alcohol inks and I didn't like the way that it looked. So I set it on a shelf to think about what else I could do with it. And I liked the colors. They reminded me of the. So I put some decals on it. I spray painted black. My decals are sky and it says, "Don't be a prick." Um, maybe not appropriate for everybody, but the cup did turn out pretty cool. So I didn't love the cup before. And like I said, I've never stripped it yet because I usually set it aside and then, but peekaboos are always a good thing if there's a lot of color. This one had a lot of color. I just didn't like the colors. But used this way as cactus, it works. So a lot of times you can change it into something else. So hope everybody has a great day. And if you need me, just reach out. See ya.